For several years now, social media has become an integral part of our daily lives. The term social media encompasses a wide range of programs designed to facilitate an exchange of information between users. Therefore, social media sites can be divided into subcategories, such as Facebook, the social media of excellence, but also Wikipedia, YouTube, and many others. Although all these social media sites are different from each other, they both have in common the intent of allowing the sharing of content between users. The sites therefore have allowed the users to carve out a personal space in which they can share their interests and find other users with the same interests. All of this is facilitated by the internet itself, which allows content to be shared between users at instant speed. Because of these qualities, the internet and social media have managed to take the top spot away from the traditional media, namely television, radio, and newspaper, and indeed these free media have instead recycled themselves into the fabric of the internet. The advantages that the internet offers to small creators and large companies are numerous. Primarily cuts down to the cost of renting, maintaining the facility and equipment, but, most importantly, it allows creators greater freedom of expression and management of their content, free therefore to decide what to create and when to publish their work. At the same time, it also benefits the viewer, as the internet connects various devices to a common network, which then allows access to its content anywhere, anytime, and with freedom of choice. Thanks to these qualities, therefore, it was inevitable that politics found an ideal place to thrive. Political parties have always exploited the power of mass media. Just think of Franklin Roosevelt, the 33rd President of the United States, who made an extensive use of the radio during his 2 terms in office, using it as a means to reach the hearts of the Americans. Politicians have shown great interest in social media, which allows for unprecedented political citizen contact. Social media, unlike traditional media, allows a level of interaction never seen before, especially when compared to television, which, although it allowed the politician to reach many people, it did allow interaction, and regardless, you can interact with only a limited audience. Now, with social media, a politician can both reach a greater portion of the population and, at the same time, be able to interact with it. However, this has also led to an invasion by the so-called fake news. Fake news is not a recent phenomenon of the 21st century, born in parallel with social media, but rather, fake news is a phenomenon that dates back to the 19th century and refers to all those news, often totally invented, aimed at causing confusion in the public. In the modern era, fake news takes on many faces, and it's used both in politics and in frauds. Fake news has gained considerable media power over the years, for reasons that can vary from individual to individual. Mainly, fake news appeals to the emotions of the readers. Often they have a strong and catchy language. They appeal to feelings such as dislike, despair, they appeal to ignorance, and they're able to accomplish themselves in a great ocean of information that's on the internet. Fake news represent a danger in the 21st century. They are able to influence the public opinion with false or inaccurate news. They can create barriers between people, and they can also be a cause of death, as we've seen with the current pandemic. Therefore, in order to preserve the freedom of press and of information, precautions must be taken to prevent that from a freedom and a human right can be turned for malicious purposes. Therefore, in my opinion, it's necessary, first of all, to teach appropriate computer courses in schools, in which students, in addition to learning how to use a computer, they must know how to surf the internet safely. After that, it's necessary to sponsor the work of various debunking organizations that deal with shedding light and skimming fake news from confirmed news, like Biotech, a site started in the early 2000s with the intent of clarifying to the public what news is true and what is not. Biotech works in collaboration with the public, who report suspicious news to them, and with newspapers and institutions in order to establish its veracity. Finally, the giants of social media, such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, must make new regulations in which the spread of fake news is penalized because it can bring damage to society.